and roll band. It's a free for all. Bam! Yeah, it's free for all.
Hello, Freebies, and welcome back to the Free-for-All podcast. It is take number 3. Just so you know how the sausage is made. Take 1, I didn't hit record. We got 4 minutes in, and there was nothing. Take 2, I pronounced burn it wrong, and I am not going to be on the hook for that. So this is take number 3.
Well, you just admitted to it.
My name is MJ, not Jordan nor Jackson. It's Baird, KFDX3 sports reporter, alongside the man I always look up to through Microsoft Teams. He's the Burn It CISD athletic director, Coach Free, Grant Freeman. What's going on?
I just kind of have a feeling, based on how this has started, this is going to be an all-timer.
You think so? You think I'm on fire
I just
today?
have a feeling.
I am on fire.
Well, see, it's take 3 for KFDX3.
Look at you, Chad. That's so. Thank you for tying that in.
Branding.
Yeah, I'm just happy we didn't get 40 minutes in before I realized I didn't hit record. Anyway, the man in the middle, he's the WFISD multimedia specialist. He's the voice of Memorial Stadium and Legacy High School. It's Chad Johnson. Hi, Chad. Welcome back. We missed you last week.
Hey, guys. Missed being here.
Yeah. We missed you, and we had Tobin McDuff, my boss, fill in. And Coach Free, that went okay, right?
Yeah, I love Tobin. It was great. He did a good job. The only thing I was disappointed with was he did not have a Filet-O-Fish present for the taping.
Per my request, because inside these walls of this KFDX Plus studio, I forbid any Filet-O-Fish to exist. So that is my rule.
Grant would have smelled it on the camera, too.
Probably. Coach Free, obviously Chad wasn't here last week, and busy day last Thursday. I don't blame him. You know, our podcast is way down the list of priorities for anybody. I get that. But later in the day, Chad did put his talents to work in the form of a Navy SEAL training demonstration. And I'm going to just turn it over to Chad here. He's on the right side. You can see him over there. You can see his legs. Chad, your thoughts on your performance in this event?
First of all, do not let the video fool you guys, because Nikki Davis, who also works for the school district, is in much better shape than I am. But
He is whipping his butt.
But I beat Nikki Davis in this competition.
You got to get your butt down on those push-ups.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of problems with that. As one kid behind us said, dude, she's destroying you.
Okay, well this is
But like I say, even though 20 push-ups to 7 and 1 pull-up to however many.
Yeah, this is a problem here.
I won because we did a rope pull, and I have a longer wingspan. Is really what it amounts to.
So it was like a 3-minute video.
And I also heard people saying, "Well, you beat her. Okay, she was in a dress." Hey, no excuses.
None.
Hey,
Zero.
what does the coach say, Grant? I never apologize for a win, I believe is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just questioning the criteria for the win.
Yes.
As was I. When I saw I won.
It is clear based on that video you are being destroyed.
Yes. And I clipped out the part of the video where Chad actually did well in the rope pull, just for full disclosure, because it's more funny to have a little self-deprecating humor.
I figured when they popped up the final score, I was like, this is going to be bad. I'm like, whoa, I won. How did that happen?
Domination in the rope pull.
Right.
Anyway, Chad, it was Navy week. Is that what this was?
Yes. So the Navy was here in Wichita Falls last week. I guess going out to many community groups. Spent a lot of time on campus at WFISD. They were present at the Legacy game Friday night. Flipped a coin on Friday night. They were also at the MSU game on Saturday. I guess just going around to different community groups and different school groups and just kind of explaining some of the different options in the Navy, some of the things you can do in the Navy. The little thing we were at was you could do it. There was a Navy SEAL challenge. You could also simulate. They had some simulators for like running or piloting a submarine.
Oh, wow.
Piloting a helicopter on an aircraft carrier. So it was a really cool. It was a really cool thing to kind of see that stuff as close as you can see without actual real life, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, Wichita Falls is probably more considered an Air Force town, right, with Shepherd, but to have the Navy come through must have been really cool. Coach Free, you have any experience with Navy SEALs?
None. So I am interested, Chad, like where did you rank in your score? Are you like a SEAL? Are you going to be like a secret weapon for the government?
I'm joining next week, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this are you saying this is the last episode of the Free for All as it stands? You have to join via Teams as well from basic training.
I mean, they saw me and they thought that dude right there. I mean, he looks like he's in shape to be a SEAL.
They saw you,
but they didn't say Navy SEAL. They just said SEAL.
Oh, okay. Coach Free, they saw Chad and this is what they said.
Bruh.
I'm playing with the sound
They
effects.
said, meh.
Yeah, they did. We got some other ones here. Did they say this too, Chad? Yeah, sorry.
Let's just say they were not ready to sign me up.
No, and you weren't ready to sign up yet, So maybe next year.
Maybe next year, yeah.
Before we go much further here in the podcast, let me thank our sponsor here on the Free for All. It is Macaulay Landscapes, of course, proudly serving Wichita Falls and proudly serving the Free for All for 21 years. Well, not the Free for All. We haven't been around for 21 years, but the Wichita Falls part. Their services include lawn maintenance, landscaping, irrigation repair, and so much more. You can visit them online. Their website is MacaulayLandscapes.com. There you'll find more information on how they can help you with your lawn care and landscaping needs. The Free for All relies on Macaulay Landscapes, and you should too.
Will when the Freemans buy a new house and burn it, will the Macaulays be going down there to do his yard work?
He needs to come do it at the townhome or the condo right now.
Oh
wow!
You might have to pay like a travel fee, but I'm sure he could cut.
Hey, you know what you need, Grant? You know what our city has done to help with some of the lawn maintenance around town is we now have goats.
Mm-hmm. No, this is real.
Yes, off of I know we're a worldwide audience, so not everybody knows what I'm talking about, but Southwest Parkway and Taft, kind of behind that Sonic on that where that creek is, they have brought in goats to mow the yard, if you will.
That might be the most Wichita Falls thing ever.
You never heard of goatscaping?
No.
I'm telling you, they might put Macaulay Landscapes out of business.
Maybe Patrick should get some goats.
Oh, wow.
That might be better.
If he invests in some goats, then he can take on the goatscaping as like a sidearm to his business.
That's right.
Okay, well, Patrick,
we're on to something.
Listen, if you do this, Chad wants royalties, but I think it's probably a good investment. And the city of Wichita Falls is willing to pay for it. So they will utilize your services. Yeah, goatscaping. I'm surprised you didn't think of that, Coach Free.
Like I said, this has got potential to be one of the all-time episodes.
Well, let's get into some sports then, why don't we? Coach Free, what's new in Burnett ISD athletics? I know we're not a
CISD.
Fudge.
We're not starting over.
CISD athletics.
Yeah, we've got lots of good things going on here. Volleyball team's doing great things. They are, I believe, sitting in second in district. We have Salado in our district, who is typically in the state finals for volleyball. But sitting in second, our cross-country teams who compete at state every year are really tough this year again. Our team tennis is doing good things. And football team had a tough loss the other night. Just defense is firing on all cylinders. Just can't get the ball into the end zone. Moving the ball well, just can't get the ball in the end zone. Took a tough loss to Fredericksburg. We go on the road to Gatesville this week, and I'm going there tonight for Jackson to play.
Right.
And then we'll go there again tomorrow night. Jackson, the Missile Freeman, they're undefeated. He's got in 3 games, 5 touchdowns. So he's rocking and rolling right now.
Is that ninth grade or JV or what is he?
He's an 8th grader.
8th grade.
Eighth
Okay.
grader.
All right.
So we're looking at these. I don't know. Can Grant see them? These overall records here. Lampasas and Stephenville 4-0.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know a lot about Stephenville. Stephenville beat Wiley last week, who's in Memorial and Legacy's district here. Obviously, Stephenville is going to be there every year. Is Lampasas, is that record indicative of what they're going to be like come district play?
They should be tough. I think there's Stephenville, and I think there's everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's not. I'm not trying to be derogatory there. I just think they're in a class of their own.
Sure.
They're really, really good. Lampasas is always tough. They have some tough, hard-nosed kids, but Brownwood, struggling with a new coach to start the year. We're kind of right there, with them. Just can't get it all. The defense is ahead of the offense. We'll put it that way. And Marble, you guys will remember they have a new coach, Kerry Timmerman, who was at Lake Worth when they were in Hershey's district. He was there.
Okay.
So he's done some good things since being down in Marble. It's going to be a competitive district. Again, I just think Stephenville is kind of out there, way out in front. And then everybody else is competing for those last 3 playoff spots.
And speaking of way out there, it's a drive from Burnett to Stephenville, isn't it?
2 hours.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not too bad then.
about 2
Okay, I
hours.
was thinking.
Right up 281.
I felt like it was
Okay.
for some reason. I felt like there was a bigger gap in those towns.
The biggest, next week we go to San Angelo, play Lakeview High School. There's some famous alumni that come from that part of the world. But they're talking about
talking
2.5
about yourself?
hours of being. No, that's a long trip for them, 2.5 hours. And I just told them, hey guys, that's just our closest district trip when I was in Wichita.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, good point. Good point. Speaking of Wichita, Coach Free, you probably saw this because I know Chad put out a nice graphic on social media. We covered it on the news. The Memorial Mavericks into Dave Campbell's state rankings for the first time in program history, of course, but they've only been around 2 years. Nonetheless, a first WFISD football team to be inside the top 10 in the state rankings since Ryder back in week 4 of 2023 when they were ranked 9th. So I know you're probably still watching WFISD from afar, Coach Free. Your thoughts on Memorial cracking the top 10? Pretty cool.
Yeah, they've done a good job this year. Mark sent me his annual Abilene Cooper crazy guy post because Mark calls the offense and they do so many different things on defense that it makes him spaz out trying to plan for all of them. And so we get a kick every year of whenever Abilene Cooper week, he always sends me a crazy picture of him and all the different things like a beautiful mind. He said Abilene Cooper week, and I just laughed. I said I knew it. But yeah, they've done a good job. They've got a good group rolling. It's going to be, this week for them is going to be really good. Cooper is playing well. They do so many different things on defense, but I always try to give Mark as much credit as possible, or as little credit as possible. Excuse me. Outstanding offensive mind, and so he's going to have them schemed up. They're going to score a lot of points.
I was out at practice.
Hopefully, they can keep it rolling.
I was out at practice yesterday, and they were working on some of those schemes. So
good. Yeah, 4-0, hoping to make it 5 and start district play in the win column.
So one thing that I thought was interesting with this district, Grant, is we had Jonathan Hull, our local sports reporter here. For those of you that don't know Jonathan, on our WFISD podcast yesterday, and he's got Paladuro 3rd in the district, which is
I think that's been coming. I really think that's been coming. I think Eric Mims, since he's taken over there the last 3 or 4 years, he's done a really good job. He's an alumni there, and he's gotten the kids out. They were having problems prior to him getting there, of just getting kids out. They have really, really low numbers. He's done a good job of getting kids out, and then he uses them very well. They've been young for a couple years, and so this is kind of the culmination of him establishing his program. And I know that they've got some really good athletes out on the field, and he does a good job with them. And so they're going to be a tough matchup for anybody in that district. I knew that I believe it was the last year I was at Old High, maybe the year before. He had just got there, and we played them, and that's what I was telling Mark is they're coming eventually.
Which good for for us that have been in this district for a while, and now that we've been in this realignment with Paladuro for a while now. Good for Paladuro because it's been a struggle for them the last few years. So to see them having success for their kids and for their school and their community, I think you always want to see kids doing well. I don't care what school they're at or what community they're in. So just to see them having some success, good for them.
Yeah. So what do we got? 3-1 with a week 1 loss. So they've won 3 in a row. They're coming in hot.
And losing they lost 10-0 to Tascosa. So obviously defensively, we've talked a little bit about Tascosa with their triple option offense that is hard to stop because you don't see it and they run it so well. And to only give up 10 points, against a big.
Well, there's two of those wins there stand out to me a lot. Canyon High and Amarillo High. I bet that's the first time that they've beat Amarillo High in a long time.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
And they kind of took it to them in the second half.
That's a big win. That's a big win. The Canyon High win's impressive too.
And then I'm just noticing this now. So they're going to be on a 3-game winning streak coming off their bye week and traveling here to Wichita Falls to play Memorial. So the Mavs are going to have to be on their toes on that one too.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is it's good that Memorial gets them at home. They traditionally don't play as well on the road, leaving Amarillo as they do in Dick Bivens in Amarillo, and so
Sure.
that's to an advantage. But coming off a bye week, they're going to have 2 weeks to scheme them up. So Mark's got. I might get that crazy picture text again.
If we could, Chad.
I also do have a point of contention. This new podcast that has been started, this Inside WFISD. Yes, I do still pay attention. I have a couple of points of contention here. One, MJ called it the free-for-all in all the reads. Last week when he had the volleyball coaches on, he kept saying all of his reads were free-for-all. So I'm kind of worried about
did you
MJ
really?
carrying both the hats there. The second is it just basically a platform from those coaches to basically tell stories or get after me since I can't fend them off? I'm not there physically anymore to fend them off. Like, what are we doing there?
Yeah. Okay. So on the first note, I did Ron Burgundy that. I read off the script, and the script says free for all, and I need to change it to Inside WFA.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I did it the first week, I believe. I think I fixed it when we recorded yesterday, Chad, if I'm not mistaken. But as for the second point, I think we actually put your head in the form of a softball on a tee, and then let the coaches swing away.
Because I just want to be very clear that podcasting was not a thing until we brought that to WFISD. And so to be slandered in my own, platform is just, I'm taking notes. I just want that to be clear.
Listen.
So he's not going to be happy with what Mr. Hull said yesterday.
Listen, I was going to say, I don't think he's heard what we've talked about yesterday. That's all. We're gonna tease him with that. Coach Free, get ready to watch yesterday's episode, which I believe is going to be live later today.
I believe I will have it on our YouTube page this afternoon.
Okay.
And I believe it's also on KFDX Plus today.
Yeah, at some point.
Paul better be careful because he's a good friend of mine. So
I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit.
It's a good-natured ribbing.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
And then, Chad, if we could just quickly touch on the Legacy Leopards. We don't want to leave them out of the picture, of course. 1-3. They had that week 1 win. They've slid a little bit the last 3 weeks, and they get the pleasure of opening district play against Abilene Wiley.
Not going to be an easy one.
No.
I didn't get to watch, or I didn't get to see the game live Friday night. We were watching Mike Gundy's swan song. But anyway.
We'll get to that.
It's my understanding they struggled a little bit with penalties, and just watching the game. I want to say Canyon Randall was up 14-0 after the first 2 possessions, which I think both started inside the Legacy 30.
Oof.
So field position, penalties, stuff that I know I'm sure Coach Davis is cleaning up. It sounds to me like after getting down so early, so quick that they played a lot better from that point.
Good.
The final was 27-0, but like I say, by all accounts, defense played a lot better. It's hard to fault a defense when you give the team the ball and they have less than 30 yards to go. But it's my understanding they did some good things. I know talking to Hall yesterday, they I guess at the end of the half they had a field goal that was blocked.
Ugh.
I guess they had a penalty on it, so it allowed Randall to get in there and get another opportunity to get 3 more points. So still growing, still building. I mean, a lot of people in this city, I know Grant speaks with it because he hired him, but I know a lot of people have a lot of faith in what Greg Davis is doing out there. And
results aren't just wins and losses either.
Right.
There's growth.
The record may not be what people are hoping for at the end of the year, but they're growing and they're building and things are moving in the right direction.
Culture matters. Absolutely.
I really think anytime you look at a takeover or a turnover like that, you just have to really understand that it one takes time, which I mean we can say that like till we're blue in the face, but I think that things turn that you don't see on a Friday night. I think you see the things from Monday through Thursday that turn that maybe don't put themselves out on the field that will turn and help you to win games down the road. And that's the hardest part of a turnaround is the Monday through Wednesday. It really is, or the Monday through Thursday. And that's the things that people don't unfortunately notice until probably 2 to 3 years down the road.
Chad, we're going to transition a little bit to college football here, and you've been a little what's the word? I don't even know what word to use. You know what? I have a great word to use. Let's use this one.
That's why I don't read the newspaper.
because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Write something about me or our coaches. That's all I got to say. Makes me want to puke.
Makes me want to puke.
One of the top 5, maybe even top 3 best rants ever. Ever.
I'm here for that.
Very entertaining. But yes, the Mike Gundy era is over at Oklahoma State.
And you, Chad, you took to Facebook, and at first I misunderstood this. You posted this, tickets available for Saturday's Baylor. I thought you were just like, I want nothing to do with this game. Get rid of these, please.
No, it's, our kids are in band there. We have season tickets, and my wife, Christy's not able to go this weekend. I haven't quite decided whether I'm going, but I actually posted that about an hour before the news broke. So
you were on the cutting edge.
Yes. So just trying to recoup a little bit of money knowing what tickets we had available. So I will be there every when available, I will still be there every week. Band dad.
You want to see your kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, after getting bombed by Oregon, and this is where I think things could be going. They're not in the right direction right now, but I think could be turned quickly. Got bombed by Oregon playing Tulsa on a Friday night, which is a terrible time to play a college football game, I think.
Agreed.
Let Friday nights belong to the high schools.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing on Thursday nights for the NFL. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Packed house. It was still sold out. It was still, there was a lot of booing and a lot of fire Gundys when they lost to Tulsa. But
wish came true.
Now I will say at first, my first thought was timing wise, I wasn't a big fan of the timing, but the more I've read and the more I've seen and the more in today's world of NIL and everything else, I think I still say they should have done it last offseason. But I think doing it now allows them to get their ducks in a row and find out what kind of booster help they've got to hit the ground running and get who they truly want in there and not be grasping at leftovers, if you will. But I'm still not a fan of necessarily of firing in season either.
Yeah, I didn't like the timing of it at all. If you can get your ducks in a row behind the scenes,
right.
If this was just any Joe Blow, I don't have a big deal. I don't love it, but I don't have a big deal. This is Mike Gundy. He was the quarterback. He's an Oklahoma State guy. He's been there and basically put a lot of butts in those seats and put a lot of money into that athletic department over decades as a player, as a coach. I just don't know that that's the exit that he deserved from his alumni. This is the one thing I will say. I do think it's a really good job, or it's going to get some good potential suitors because I think it's in the Big 12. I think there is a base there. I think you can recruit to Stillwater, but it was time for a change. I just don't think that change is middle of the season. I just don't. I think there's something to be said about letting somebody who has carried the water for your program at least finish it out in his own way.
And here's the thing about Gundy: 20 full seasons as the head coach at Oklahoma State, 18 of those winning seasons. His first season and then last season were his only 2 losing seasons. You go back a few years, what was it? 3 years ago, they played Baylor in the Big 12 championship game. 4 years ago, and they were about a yard short of potentially being in the playoffs. 2011, I think it was, when by all accounts, they probably should have been in the BCS championship game against LSU over Alabama. Before I read something the other day, before Mike Gundy became the head coach, OSU had a 450 winning percentage. It was 630 under Mike Gundy. So
yeah,
a lot of people.
That's what kind of I was going with what Chad's talking about, and I give Chad crap all the time about Oklahoma State or the Big 12, but. Really, I don't think that's the way you let somebody like that go out. I just don't.
I think the problem with Gundy is, and this is where I think, a lot of talk is he wants to coach again, but to me, the perfect place for Gundy would be on television. And I think where Gundy rubs people the wrong way sometimes is when you're playing well, the character that is Mike Gundy, they love him, but when they're not playing well, and he made some comments last year, something along the lines of, kind of really ripped on the fans about the fans not being able to pay their bills and stuff like that. And I think that's where the fans kind of turned on him a little bit. I know there's some boosters, and I'm not a big fan of this, of withholding money, but there's a lot of reports out there that there's a lot of boosters that are ready to put a lot of money into the OSU program, but they weren't going to do it as long as Gundy was still the coach.
Interesting.
So,
You know,
but I would
biggest-
love to
the
see
biggest
that guy on
problem with-
television.
Yeah, the biggest problem with somebody being their true selves and allowed to have a personality is it's good, and they can also be their own worst enemy. You know, sometimes in his case, you know, he probably wishes he could walk back some of that stuff, but that's genuinely him. He
Right.
says what he felt in the time, and so you get the good with the bad. Unfortunately, is I don't know that you can handle all that. It looks like over the last 2 years that he hasn't really had it together as far as what's going on within his program. Not really to say what he's spitting out there, but what's going on within his program. But they're going to get a good coach. I'm telling you right now, they're going to get somebody in there that's going to be able. I don't know that within a year turn it around, but in 2 for sure.
Here's who I would like to see: somebody that's got some ties, you know, down there where you're at in South Texas, and some ties here. I'd love to see a guy like GJ Kinney, young guy who has proven that he can do it at Texas State.
List. Yeah, GJ would be top on my list. He has some Oklahoma ties. Being, you know, he played at Tulsa. I really think that it. You know, I don't know how faux pas it is, but I would kind of do the Jimmy Johnson route. I'd go hire the Oklahoma offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good
you know,
one too.
that's kind of the Jimmy Johnson model. He ended up as the Oklahoma OC to Oklahoma State. But I definitely think it needs to be based on what Oklahoma State has done in the past in the Big 12 and that. I think it needs to be an offensive guy. I think it needs to be an upstart. I don't think you need a retread here.
Right.
I think it needs to be somebody coming up and bring some juice or something, you know, a thing back to Oklahoma State.
I have spent the last 5 minutes trying to find it, and I cannot. There was a graphic I saw on social media. Thought it was CBS Sports, but I can't find it. And it listed potential replacements. Arbuckle was not on it. Kinney was. Among
Kenny's
other
on
people.
it. Jeff Traylor is on it. Jeff Traylor. There's a lot of Joey McGuire type in Jeff Traylor, he's the head coach at UTSA. Was it at Gilmore? He was at Grant. Won three state championships as a high school coach. Then I think went to Texas. Kind of went to Texas as an assistant and kind of worked his way through there and is now at UTSA. He's done some good things at UTSA. Had a chance for the Tech job when they hired McGuire. There's some debate on. A lot of people say he pulled his name out of being considered.
Yeah, he worked for Sterling at UT. He was the running backs coach for Sterling when he was at UT. He was the other name that I would think of because you could come recruit Texas with somebody like him. That's the thing I'll tell you where the transfer portal hasn't been good to Oklahoma State. They've kind of dove into that a little bit more than recruiting Texas. You know, we used to, when I was at Wichita Falls, I mean, Oklahoma State was their offensive coordinator, Casey Dunn, was there, or receivers coach at the time was there monthly. And then when transfer portal kind of started up towards the end of the Gundy era, they just stopped recruiting high school, especially in the state of Texas. I think that's really where you got to be able to do both. Right. And you cannot get on the wrong side. If you touch the state of Texas, if you're one of the ones that touch the state of Texas, you cannot get on the wrong side of Texas high school football coaches.
Absolutely.
It's too big a fraternity. It's too big of the recruiting base is too big. And so a guy like Jeff Traylor would definitely open those doors back.
It's funny you bring that up because I did pull in a soundbite that I heard from Coach Gundy not long ago. I think it was maybe just last month, and he was talking about the transfer portal and a very interesting comparison. Let's have a listen.
College football, as we all know, has changed in a very, very dramatic fashion, and it's really not the old college football. This is a paid game, okay? So whether I agree with it or not makes zero difference. It's like being in an argument with your wife and you know you're right. It makes zero difference. You're wrong. You might as well just get over it, give in. Things are going to be much smoother.
I don't have any experience. Arguments with wife, you're always wrong?
100%.
Yes.
That's it. No comment from the married men. Okay. I see.
We've both been married a
get
long
the point.
time. That's how we stay
And
married.
even if you are right and try to argue that you are right, eventually you're going to say something that's going to make the whole thing wrong.
Sure.
So
Sure. I found the graphic. It was on Instagram after all. See if I can get it pulled up here. Boom. And full screen. Don't mind the little replies with the GIF on the right side.
Colin Klein's another good one. I mean, Colin Klein was a quarterback at Kansas State, kind of worked his way up. He was the offense coordinator at Kansas State before going to A&M. He's turned Marcel Reed into a pretty darn good quarterback. Zach Robinson is a former quarterback at Oklahoma State. He's on the McVay tree.
I like Eric Morris.
And he's somebody I don't know.
I didn't think of Eric. I think Eric would be outstanding there.
Where did he come from, Grant, when he went to North Texas?
Eric was the OC at Washington State. He's a Leach guy, played receiver. He's kind of in that Wes Welker mode for Leach. He was always a Leach guy, was kind of with him everywhere. He was at Incarnate Word before. He actually is the one that had Cam Ward before GJ got there. He was the head coach at Incarnate Word and then went out to Washington State for a year as the OC and then took the North Texas job.
Gotcha.
I think he's along the same lines as GJ Kinney. I don't like Colin Klein. I don't like that fit. Will Stein is also another one that's intriguing. I don't know that he'd take that job, but Eric Morris, Jeff Traylor, GJ Kinney, I'd throw Ben Arbuckle on there before I throw Colin Klein on there.
Sure.
I like the idea of going with either a college head coach or an offensive coordinator, just because, especially in today's game, they've got experience with what today's game looks like. I think Zach Robinson, he's clearly a good coach. I mean, he's on the McVay tree, anybody on the McVay tree, and he's an Oklahoma State guy. But I think some of these Oklahoma State people have to get out of this mentality of bringing in a guy. I think they see Zach Robinson as a guy that, he'll be here for 10 or 15 years, and there's kind of this debate. Do you want a guy that's going to be decent for 10 or 15 years, or do you want a guy that's going to be a rock star for maybe 3 or 4 years, but maybe gone in 3 or 4 years? I'd rather take my chances with that guy that's going to be a rock star for 3 or 4 years, even if that means he takes it to a bigger and better job. That means he did really good in his 3 or 4 years in Stillwater. So
most likely, after having somebody for 20 years, you're not going to have your next coach is not going to be there for 5.
Right. Which is maybe antithetical to the thinking, but that's just kind of the way it's going to work.
And and every coach, this was a debate. Every coach is looking for that next job. Everybody sees. There's a lot of discussion in Oklahoma that Oklahoma State's little brother at Oklahoma. In fact, that's a lot of talk. People are like, well, nobody wants to go there for 2 or 3 years. Well, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma a few years ago for what he thought was a better job at USC. So it happens even in the quote-unquote marquee programs too. So
yeah, and at this point, is it unfair to say Oklahoma State could be a stepping stone? I don't think that's unfair, right?
No. And I've always heard Stillwater's compared a lot to Lubbock, that it's not – it's a place that kids don't want to go play. It's just for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just because it's too far away from a metro center. I don't really know. But
Coach Free's bursting at the
as
lips.
somebody who has 2 kids in Stillwater, there's no place I'd rather my kids be.
I'm just checking. Like, are they still in the Big 12?
Absolutely.
Do they still pay millions of dollars for their head coach?
Absolutely.
Or do they still have NIL? I mean.
And they've got money. They've got boosters that, by all accounts, are ready to spend that money. Sure. So,
I think it can be. I think it can be salvaged. All of those factors. I think it can be salvaged.
When I say stepping stone, I mean past performance proving. You're not. I don't think someone's coming in and necessarily making them the top of the Big 12 year one. Like it's stepping.
Yeah, I'll go take that stepping stone. Right. I mean, hey, sign me up. I'll come out of retirement to go deal with that.
You want to go be there for 20 years or 25 years like Coach Gundy too? Anyway.
I want to be there for until the first paycheck hits.
Yes, or multiple of those same amount paychecks. All right, we're staying with college football. We're jumping to our trademark segment. What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We got like a 1A and a 1B on the what are we doing this week. First one being you guys probably didn't watch the game, obscure game. UTSA, Colorado State. Did you guys happen to see it?
I did not.
Okay. I will explain what happened at the end of this game because to me it was nuts. So it's one of those situations, and we've talked about this before on this podcast, where coaches have a decision to make when it comes to extra point, 2-point conversion, tie the game, win the game, yada, yada, yada. Well, Colorado State was losing this game in the fourth quarter. They drive down the field, and I want to make sure I get it right. A 13-play, 75-yard drive late in the fourth quarter to score a touchdown where the extra point would have tied this game at 17 apiece. That's where it gets interesting. They kicked the extra point. It was up. It was good. Offside UTSA. So,
Took the points off the board.
that's the decision. Do you take them off the board and play for the win, or do you leave them up and play for overtime?
How much time did you say was left?
There would have been 29 seconds left in the game at home for Colorado State. Well, they decided we're taking the points off the board and we're going to go for 2, and here's what happened. Here's your 2-point conversion play. Oh, that was supposed to start at the beginning. It's going to loop here in just a second. Sorry about that. I messed this one up somehow. Here we go. Okay, 2-point play from the 2-yard line because of the penalty.
It felt like it was a busted play right there.
I don't know what exactly it was, but it didn't work. I do know that. It didn't work.
So here's my thinking on it. If I'm UTSA, the road team, I'm taking the points off and going for 2. Colorado State being the home team, I'm going to take my chances in overtime.
Coach Free has his hands on his head. What are you thinking?
So the advantage of moving the ball forward is that you have a shorter distance to run. The disadvantage to moving the ball forward is you've compressed the field, so it's harder to get open to pass. So why would you take the points off the board
and compress
the field down to run that play? That is absolutely idiotic. So now you've got a more compressed field. You can't get guys as open. Like if you're gonna
rolling out off the board and you're rolling out to compress it even more.
So you're cutting it off. Like if you're gonna do that because you're closer, run the ball. You've got less area to run.
Hey, here's a question I've got for you as a football coach, Grant, and something that I've always questioned with all of these spread offenses and stuff like that. When you're that close at the 1, if you will, whatever, right there, even if you're running the ball, why don't we have quarterbacks get under center? Why are they still in the shotgun?
This question gets asked a lot. So one, there's a lot of layers to it. So I will tell you this, like one, if it's not something you do when you got to have it, you haven't practiced it. So that's tough. But 2, what's the function of what you're going to do? If you're going to hand the ball off, you can hand the ball off from the shotgun. There's no disadvantage. The only advantage to getting under center is the threat of a sneak. And if you take that, if that's not in your playbook, there's no disadvantage to being in shotgun. The advantage to being in shotgun is your zone reads, your power reads, your illusion with the mesh. But the only advantage it does possess is you have the sneak capability of getting up there and moving the ball. So I'm not saying that you're not right. If it's in the scheme of your offense and that's something that you do, then yeah, for sure, do it. But if it's not what you do, you don't gain that much of advantage.
Here's one more thing I have on this play. I don't know, MJ, if you can roll it back to the beginning or not, or if it'll just come back up.
It'll loop here in just a second.
So watch the tight end. It's the tight end or wing back, or I'm not sure exactly, but he kind of rolls to the middle like he's going to help block that middle right there, but then they run away from him.
Talking about this one?
Yeah, right there, 82.
Okay.
It's like he's there to help block the middle, but then they don't go to the middle. If you're going to roll to the right, wouldn't you want him helping you either block on the right or coming out into a pass play?
That's above my pay grade.
So this is a run pass option play. So he is basically the optical illusion, and he has the backside C gap. So he is to give the illusion of coming out that backside there. If you see linebacker number 7 goes with him, so the inside backer, they're in man here.
I gotcha.
So 7 goes with him. So it takes that defender away from where they're trying to go. The biggest problem is they actually blitzed into this thing. So they had an unblocked blitzer into this thing and only had one route in which they could throw the ball to.
And if he's going to throw it right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem is because they blitzed into it, he actually had to chip him before he could release into the route. It's it's a boo-boo play from the beginning because of that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, though. If you're going to move the ball forward,
Yeah.
shorten to the 1 yard line, then, to me, that's when you want your running it up the middle or something. A little less gadgety and a little more just straight up
Yeah.
getting it in the end zone.
So that's part 1A of what are we doing. Part 1B, I'm kind of going to turn it over to Chad because he took to Facebook and was not thrilled, along with pretty much of the nation, regardless of which team you were rooting for, I guess for the most part. In the Auburn-OU game, I tried to find the footage so hard, and I couldn't find the all-22 view, but basically OU runs what we'll call a trick play, a gadget play, a fake play, a deceptive play, call it what you want. They had the old-fashioned guy running off the field who isn't actually running off the field and is then wide open. They snap the ball. And the play drew a lot of national attention, including heavy criticism of the officials. So, Chad, you had a question for Coach Free on this.
So here's my question, Grant, because I know as an official, I can live with judgment calls as an umpire, and I feel like I can sleep at night when I miss a call at first base or whatever. But what I have a hard time, even as an official, when I miss a rule, when I misinterpret a rule and allow something to happen that's against the rules, I have a hard time. I'll be honest with you, I have a hard time sleeping at night because I feel like
because it's black and white.
Right. So my question to you on that play is, there was a lot of questionable judgment calls in that game. There was a fumble that was called incomplete that Auburn ran back for a touchdown that got brought back as an incompletion. I didn't like that call, but at the end of the day, once again, that's where judgment takes in. My question to you is, as a coach, how much harder is it for you to accept, in this case, where the SEC came out the next day and said the play was illegal? It's against the rules. I don't have a problem with OU trying to run it, and by all accounts, they went to the officials before the game and said, this is what we're going to do. But I want to know from a coach's perspective the difference in missing a judgment call that happens and missing something that's in the rule book that should have been caught.
So I think that's the misnomer in like coaches referee relationships. I was always okay in interpretation settings. It didn't mean that I always agreed with them, but at least they gave me their perspective. Like if somebody would talk me through their perspective and what they saw and why they interpreted it that way, while I might not agree with them, I can at least live with that because it is an interpretation. But blatantly missing things that are rule based, that's where you saw me get the most mad. Like I don't have any time or any patience for somebody who cannot take black and white rules and put them into application. And because that's the reason that they're out there. That's the whole reason they're out there, is to enforce the rules. And in some situations, interpret the rules. I can live with interpretation. I can't live with you not being able to enforce clear violations or clear rules, and that's where I would get the most mad. I would get, you get animated based on your personality, right, based on the interpretation, and you explain your side, they explain theirs, and then at the end you agree to disagree. But blatant rules violations, I got very, very, very upset about, and this was not only a blatant rule violation, it was deceptive by Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That was wrong. It was wrong. And not only did it affect that, they should be punished for it beside the fact. Not only should the refs be punished, Oklahoma should be punished for being deceptive and knowing that it's a rule and still trying to get away with it.
Let me ask you that, because I know you guys have pregame meetings as well, but if that's brought up before the game, you as Ben Arbuckle, I know this is illegal, but I'm going to ask the officials just to see what they say. And if they say, oh, no, that's legal, then does that change your opinion on Oklahoma still running it or not?
Yeah, that's the offensive coordinator doesn't meet with the coaches. That's not on Ben Arbuckle. That's on
the head coach.
The head
okay, yes,
coach
I'm
is.
sorry. Okay, whoever meets with him then.
That's on whoever the coach is. The head coach is. So you would, we always had, if we had something weird, and that's one of the questions the officials ask. Do you have a weird formation that we need to know about, or a weird play that we need to know about? If we had something on that week, I would let them know. We'd let them, know when it was kind of coming. They would, are you well within the rules? We're going to legislate it based on that. If you just pulled it out and out of the blue, I'm just still shocked that it was pulled out of the blue and they didn't get it. Like,
Right.
this is blatant.
Sure.
It was blatant in real time.
And
It
in a
was
college
blatant.
football game, you have 8 officials on the field? 9 officials?
And they have the benefit of replay assist.
Right.
And you got to get that stuff right.
So I got two things here. I grabbed this on the fly. We'll hear from Ben Arbuckle. And then also the SEC actually put out a statement after the game on the referees, so we'll look into that. But first, let's listen to the OU offensive coordinator. He was questioned after the game, naturally, about what happened.
Yeah, I mean, we ran the ball the play before. He just quick motioned over there, and it was a tempo call. He got lined up. He pointed to the official. He was never out of bounds or anything like that, and they didn't cover him. So it was good awareness by John to see him with nobody on him, and he just ran, and it was a great job by him.
Y'all are just beginning to see what he can do. I mean, he's incredible, and we're glad that he's putting it on display and making incredible plays like he does. You know what I mean? Whether they cover him or not.
All right.
That play was awesome. You know what I'm talking about? They hit him on the sideline.
I guess I don't know how to stop this like I thought I did. Apologies. So I didn't realize we're hearing from a player there as well. That was tight end Jaron Kanik. Probably butchering that. Nice Fort Lauderdale shirt, by the way. But after hearing the OC, I mean, forget about whether you like the team or don't like the team or like him or don't like. We're not getting into that. Just listening to him. Obviously, he's going to explain it as if, oh no, we just took advantage of something, right?
So I will say this, and I want to be very clear. I'm a Ben Arbuckle fan.
Sure.
And also of any OC or any coach in the league, Ben should have a very good understanding of the rules because his brother is one of the best officials that we have.
Right here in Wichita Falls, yes.
Yes, and he's an outstanding official. Outstanding. And so he knows the rules. I believe, and I have not seen the play full, not the TV copy where it's cut between plays, like the full copy in which they are where they are.
I couldn't find it either.
I believe it goes back and forth to checking in. Like if we sub somebody in, they have to check in inside the numbers and then check back out. Like if they then move outside of the numbers. And so I just, I can't remember.
I think he was already in the game. I don't think this was somebody that checked in. I think he was in the game, kind of like Arbuckle said right there. I think he was in the game the play before.
Correct.
And just motioned out that way. But I guess then the discussion is, and where the SEC came in, and I think even the rules analyst working the game that day said the way he did it was deceptive.
Yeah, so
the whole object of what they were doing was deceptive.
I'll just read it for any of our listening-only audience, but basically, statement on the Auburn-OU football game. In Saturday's game, with 10:50 remaining in the second quarter, a pass was thrown to Oklahoma's number 5, resulting in a touchdown. Oklahoma's number 5 participated in the previous play, which was a first down from the 22-yard line. After the first down play was completed, he continued toward his team's sideline, but stopped just before reaching the sideline. NCAA Football Rule 9-2, Article 2, labeled, quote, unfair tactics, states, quote, no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents. No tactic associated with substitutes or the substitution process may be used to confuse opponents. This includes any hideout tactic with or without a sub. The officiating crew did not properly interpret this action as a hideout tactic. If it was properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of 15 yards assessed from the previous spot. Appropriate accountability will be applied without further comments. So I actually remember, I think Winthorst ran this play, or a version of it, in the playoffs. I'm going to say it was the year they won state. I'm going to say it was 2020. Leo Brittenfield and Vernon against Wellington. And Max Owen, I believe, was the receiver. And it was the same thing. It was, call it deceptive if you want, call it unfair tactic. Probably the refs didn't call it. Winthorst scores a touchdown, goes on, wins that game, goes on to win a state championship. These things happen. Was it misjudged, misruled by the officials? Probably. But let's be real, right? And Coach Free, you were a football coach. You know this. Football coaches will admit this. You're trying to do anything you can to stretch the gray area of the rule, right?
Yeah, so just to be clear, that's not a rule in high school football. You can run hideout. We typically did it a lot coming out of a timeout.
Okay.
And or the most famous one is normally on kickoff. You send somebody out, then you kick it back that way. Hideout kickoff. So it's not a high school rule.
Interesting.
The thing.
Don't we follow?
I'm not
college
saying
rules,
that you
though?
don't try to gain advantage. That's your job, is to gain an advantage in the
that's what I'm
gray
trying to
areas
get
of the rule. However, this is point blank. I'm interested in seeing the sideline if they're waving him over. Like, I don't.
There's context missing.
I'm just real interested in that.
Yes.
To clarify what you said, MJ, Texas high school football does play NCAA rules, but there are some variations of those rules that high school football implements or doesn't implement.
Got it.
There are generally around 15 to 20 exceptions to the NCAA rules that we follow.
Got it. Good to see that this is the stuff that sports reporter MJ should know but doesn't. So that's why we have the resident coach. To
Now,
keep me in check.
I will say, not defending Oklahoma, but kind of critical of Auburn. It's my understanding that Auburn's coaches were hollering right away, like, get over there, get over there, get over there. Do you not have somebody on defense that, I mean, they didn't see a sub come in. Do you not have somebody on defense that's kind of watching that guy to make sure he does go off the sidelines?
That's what I'm saying. That there's got to be some other form of deception, because if he's just normally, like the way that Arbuckle explained it, is he had a short split for the run play, so he was inside the numbers where his split was for the run play, and then what he is explaining is that his split was outside the numbers for the pass play the next play. That happens all the time. So that's a corner would not leave him. He wouldn't go from a short split to a long split. That happens in the course of multiple times during the game. There had to be some other deception that made him think that he was coming off of the field instead of just extending his split.
I'd be curious, like you said, MJ, to see the all 22 on
Yeah,
that, because the way, I mean, that makes me think there had to have been more that we didn't see.
Yeah, so hard to find that clip, and I found the TV clip, but it's cut off, and it wouldn't have provided any good context. So anyway,
I mean, we split all the way out to the ticks. Sometimes, when we were in the air raid stuff, we were all the way out on the ticks, like by the sideline.
So what's the rule on a sub? A sub has to come into the numbers before then going out if they do come in as a sub. Is that right?
Correct. If they sub into the game, they have to enter inside the numbers, then can go out to their split. They can't just walk onto the field and be outside the numbers.
Interesting. We're going to transition to the National Football League, and Coach Free, you better put your analyst football hat on, because I am ticked. Not at you, at the Dallas Cowboys defense. And I know you're an offensive guy. But I went hard into the archives, pulled up these clips of last week's game against the Bears. I've got all 4 Chicago touchdowns, and all 4 of them, the wide receiver or the tight end, whoever's catching the pass, is naked, is wide open. There's not a defender in sight.
And the flea flicker is the worst flea flicker I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
That ended up being successful.
So I got all 4. I literally pulled all of these in different angles, different views. So I need you to break this down for me, okay? And I need you to tell me. The question I ultimately have is this: are the Cowboys DBs bad because the pass rush is bad, or are the Cowboys DBs just bad? Okay? First Cowboys touchdown, right here. We're gonna watch it. Caleb Williams over the middle, naked. I mean, I think this is Luther Burden. Who is this? This is Luther Burden, maybe? Just wide open. Roma Dunze, I'm sorry. Trayvon, what are we doing? Help me, Coach Free.
Yeah, so...
Well, he tripped right there.
That's man, so you go back. He's beat from the start. I'm going to show you. If you can go back and pause it.
Yeah, the clip's going to loop. The clip's going to loop around.
Oh, that's fine. So he's in jam man. Okay, so he jams with his outside hand, which is wrong, and he tunnels himself inside.
Right here.
Which is improper technique. Jams with the outside hand, and then he's inside. That's improper technique for outside receiver and man defense. So you want to funnel them inside where you have help instead of outside. No outside release is what we would say. So, I mean, that's stuff that you learn when playing man defense in high school. So not only is it bad technique at the line, then he funnels himself inside because he punches with his outside hand. So yes, a horrible man defense, horrible technique, horrible execution.
It was a pretty bad jam too.
Touchdown.
The jam was bad, the slip was bad, and knowing you have no help over the top was bad. That dude is wide open for a 41-yard touchdown. Okay, that is Chicago's first touchdown of the game. How about we jump into touchdown number 2? Okay, here we go. Here's the flea flicker, as Chad mentioned.
The worst. Look at that. It took 20 minutes for the ball to get back to him.
Atrocious. Oh, nope, just kidding. Luther Burden's wide open. Try the ankle tackle. No thanks. Coach Free, jump in here.
Okay, so this is actually zone. So they're in a 2-deep zone here, and so the problem with 2-deep zone. Okay, so everybody wants to say the corner's wrong. He's not. It's the safety should be kicking over the top, but the safety saw the eye candy in front of him in the run play and stepped down to go fill the alley, and so he's about 5 steps in front of him, and he's not kicking over the top of that vertical route in his zone.
That flea flicker literally took like
this.
5 or 6 seconds to even develop.
Whoop.
And then you get a pop-up back.
Oh, that is so bad. Oh, my God. What are we doing, guys?
So, again, that's all 28, not 20.
And then he misses the ankle tackle, but he was too far behind anyway. Okay, that was the Bears' second touchdown. How about Bears' touchdown number 3? Oh, did that switch correctly? No, it didn't.
You're still on the...
What did I do wrong?
what are we doing?
Yeah, MJ, what are we doing? Let's try this. Nope, that ain't it. Yes, it is it. Okay. So which one's this? Oh, yeah, this was the one down on the goal line to the tight ends. And, I mean...
Radio station KMET.
0 people. Like, no one's in 15
They're standing there watching.
Coach Free?
Yeah, so I need to see it from wide to tell you what coverage what kind of coverage they're in. But
Okay.
it looks like
That's the
they
flea
were
flicker
in.
again. Did I mess this? I must have messed something up here because that's the flea flicker. We don't want to see that. Here we go. Start it right here. This is the coverage they're in. I don't know if you can diagnose from that look.
Yeah, so they're in cover 3 here. So that middle safety essentially has 2 routes in his. That's a poor defense to be in the goal line, and so that safety is rolled down, and that's just a poor coverage call.
So it looks
really.
And I'm not an expert by any means, but it looks like the linebacker, if you go back, because the linebacker kind of bites to the line and then it's like kind of has an oh crap.
No, that's the roll down safety. That safety that's going that you see flash in front of him, that makes the cover 3. So they're expecting run here.
I got you.
Okay. And so that safety is the extra guy in the run. And so that safety that's on the backside hash there, he actually has vertical of 2. So there's twins down here. He has vertical of 2, and he has vertical of 2 on the other side, and he's all the way on the backside hash. So he was guessing that the throw, if there was a throw, would come to the 2 receiver side.
So just, again, another, naked touchdown. All right, how about the Bears?
Yeah, so they called a defense based on, they felt like that formation in that area gave them run, and so they called that defense based on that. And so that's poor on the defensive coordinator.
All right, so and then here's the Bears' 4th touchdown of the game. This one got me the most because it was 4th down and goal with the game still in question, so to speak. This one, I wanted to puke.
This is all out zone. I can tell you just by looking at the people, none of them's looking at the receivers, only looking at the quarterback. It's all out zone, and nobody is paying any attention to anybody. It's all out zone on 4th and goal from the 4, and nobody is covering anyone, and that's what happens. And 28, that's in his zone. He's had a bad day.
And he looks around like, oh, where's my help? Like, bro, oh my God.
No, he's not looking around for his help. He's looking around because he lost the receiver in his zone because he's watching the quarterback, and he's not getting depth enough to see the routes.
So there are the 4 Bears touchdowns, and I'm going to re-ask the question. Are the Cowboys DBs bad because the pass rush is bad, or are the Cowboys DBs just bad? Is this scheme? Is this technique? Is this discipline? Is it all of the above? Is it something else?
Yeah, as you see, as I kind of explained, it's a combination of both. Okay. It looks like they're playing poor technique, but they're also putting themselves into some really bad spots there as far as, play calling and coverage calling in certain situations. I mean, cover 3 inside the 20 on a 1st and goal, like that's horrible. That's a stupid defense based on that formation. But again, like some of their technique within those zones is poor. It's very poor. 28 doesn't need to see the field again. But
I don't even know who that is.
I don't
Who is
know.
that?
Like,
Is that
yeah, I don't know who that
Elon?
is. They need to give that back to Darren Woodson. So like it just
Tyre Elon, maybe?
it's poor play calls and it's poor technique
Oh.
within that.
That's Malik Hooker. Yes, safety Malik Hooker. Yeah.
Malik Hooker needs to go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, that being said, I mean, they made Russell Wilson look like Tom Brady. They made Caleb Williams look like Peyton Manning. This week it's Jordan Love. I mean, is he going to look like Eli in the Super Bowls?
And Russell Wilson got benched for this week.
Right. This seems almost like unfixable.
And Jordan Love's coming off of I didn't see his numbers, but I know that Cleveland kind of shut him down. So I'm assuming not the best game numbers wise for Jordan Love. And Cleveland, for all of Cleveland's fault, does play good defense. So
I don't think. Again, you said, is it because of the pass rush? With the exception of the flea flicker, all of those were catch and throws.
So just bad players. Not bad players. They're in the NFL. Not good enough players.
And I told you guys, I texted you guys this. I was driving from Wichita back down to Burnett, so I was listening on the radio, and it sounded worse on the radio than it looked on TV. Like it was, they were killing them. It just looked like they didn't. You showed the touchdowns. It sounded like they didn't even know how to line up. It was not good from the sounds. Like, I don't think they have the right players. I don't think they have the right scheme. I just think they're an absolute total disaster.
So how much of it is, not to put everything on one player, because let's say Micah's traded in March. You know you're going into the season without Micah. Micah got traded right before the first game of the year. Everybody thought Micah was going to be there. I know Micah doesn't play defensive back, but how much does that change your defense mentality, player-wise? We've got to step up, whatever, when your best defensive player is traded when you think he's going to be there?
Not as much as you think. I mean, they're poor. That scheme's poor. And then when you have subpar players within that scheme because of who all you paid and how you're spending your money, does Micah make a difference? Yeah, he makes a little bit of a difference there. He's able to get, not on some of those plays, but he's able to pressure the game in a different way. But schematically, that defense is bad.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Sunday Night Football this week, the Green Bay Packers come to town.
Here's the real question for this week. How many sacks does Micah have this week?
Over under 3.5.
You know, we talked about this and talking about the Cowboys. You know, MJ said it. They're going to have to win track meets. Well, what kind of a track meet? What track meet are you running in when you score 14 points?
Yeah, the junior high one, maybe the wrong one.
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
when does a pass rusher feast? Is when his team is up. So if they get up early.
Or not even when they're up, when you throw the ball 85% of the time, which it feels like the Cowboys are going to have to because they're losing. So anyway, okay, that's enough for the Dallas Cowboys talk. I saw this clip on Jimmy Fallon, thought it was funny this week, and I just want to give you guys a chance to listen to it in case you didn't get a chance to see it. Jimmy Fallon on all 32 NFL coaches.
You got Sean and Sean and Sean and Shen. You got John and Jim and Dave. You got Brian, Ben. You got Mike, Aaron, Glenn. You got this guy, he's the Mr. Cleanest. And this guy helps with diabetes. And this guy has the best tortillas. And this guy, his name's Kevin. You got this guy, he's the very oldest. This guy, he could be a Jonas. And this guy, Buzz from Home Alone. And this guy, also Kevin. Nick, Todd, Zach, Cal, don't forget Rahingo. Final two, you know, it's Liam and D'Amico. 32 gentlemen, now you know them well. That's every coach in the NFL.
Yes, sir. I thought that was funny. What do you think of Kellen Moore, Buzz from Home Alone?
That was pretty good. I've never noticed that before, but he is there.
Jimmy Fallon's pretty funny. The Kellen Moore is like, hey, I'm so glad I got this head coaching job. Not.
Hey, he was almost head coach of the Cowboys, was he not?
I don't know.
Jerry likes him.
Feeling about the same.
Jerry
he'd
likes
probably be feeling about the same.
He probably would. You're right.
Hey, so before we move on from the NFL, I do have one more question of both of you guys, really. First of all, and this isn't really thought. We talked about rules interpretations earlier. This isn't really a thought on the tush push, because if the tush push is legal, then it's legal. So what? I mean, so be it. But my question is, why aren't the officials calling false starts when it's a clear false start almost every time.
Allegedly, it's hard to see when it's in full speed, is what they say.
And I believe, was it Dean Blandino last week? Somebody asked him something during the tush push. He's like, I hate that play.
Yeah, I don't know why they're watching it in that manner. It all kind of happens so fast. The thing that bothers me more with the tush push than the false start is the center moves his body totally over the ball. That's alignment in the neutral zone, and that's where I think they gain the advantage, because I don't think you can see the false start by the guards as well because he is so far over the ball.
You think that's a tactic?
I think yes, it's 100% a tactic, because he moves his body there into the neutral zone. Now you can't see down the line when those guards fire, and you've won the play at that point. Like, he's actually moved his body forward to where if you needed a yard, he's almost a yard into the neutral zone. So that means the nose guard has to, a line off of him. He can't touch him. So he's moved himself into the neutral zone. So he's basically moving the neutral zone. I think that's more of the illegal part of it.
Sure. Coach Free, I'm thrilled to give you a quick update right here. You do not have to watch any baseball the rest of the year because Chad's favorite team has been eliminated.
That's good because I didn't watch any anyways.
Thoughts, Chad?
Man, I mean, what's been biting them all season long? I mean,
offense.
I mean, injuries. We can blame injuries to an extent. I think pitching had to carry them so far that I think they just ran out of gas. I mean, I think you've seen that even the last few games. I mean, they won 6 in a row, got themselves to, I think they were a half a game out of the wild card and 2 games out of the division, and then broke their 8-game losing streak yesterday. So
too little, too late.
Now give credit to Seattle, because Seattle has won, I think, 14 of their last 15 or something like that. I mean, they were behind the Astros a couple of weeks ago too, and clinched the division yesterday, and they're up 5 games. I think Cleveland's won 12 of 13 or something like that. So, I mean, the Rangers were going to have to stay hot regardless because of the way Cleveland and Seattle were playing. But they didn't do themselves any favors.
Yeah.
But speaking of teams that didn't do themselves any favors, the Detroit Tigers were 12 and a half games up on the Guardians 1 month ago today.
12 and a half games up in the division, right?
In the division, the Guardians are now a game up.
Holy cow. That's bad baseball.
That's right there with like monumental, epic, like worst collapses in baseball history.
Imagine if they didn't even make the wild card right now, too. That'd be wild.
And I think they hold a game on the Astros right now on that last wild card spot, but they've lost 9 of 10, and
yeah, that's like being like 9-2 in the NFL and finishing like, would that be what, 9-8 and missing the playoffs or something? Yeah. Wow. Okay, that's all I got on the rundown. What's on tap this week for you gentlemen? Anything good? Coach Free, you're going to a 8th grade game tonight. What else this week for you?
Go back to Gatesville tomorrow night for a varsity game and just kind of kick it. Watch some football. So I got some stuff to talk about this weekend.
Isn't there a big prison in Gatesville? That's about the only thing I can tell you about Gatesville.
I think that's correct.
Interesting. Did not know that. What's on tap this weekend for Mr. Chad Johnson?
We got district openers this weekend. Tomorrow night, Legacy will play Abilene Wiley at home. Looking forward to calling that one. Still debating whether I'm going to go to the Oklahoma State Baylor game on Saturday. My wife will not be attending, so Chad just has to decide if he wants to go or not. So,
what time's the game?
2:30.
I got an event. I got to represent KFDX Saturday night, or else I would absolutely go.
Yeah, so that's what's on the. If I don't go, then I'm just going to sit around the house and sleep and watch football.
Very good. Very good. For me, I will be at the Graham Lake Worth game Friday night down in Steer Country. Not much going on Saturday. Like I said, I'm representing KFDX in an event that night here in town, a fundraiser. And then Sunday, Cowboys play Sunday Night Football. I'll be at AT&T Stadium to see the shellacking Green Bay puts on Dallas. Do us a favor. I created this nice graphic. Have a look at this. This is how you can follow us on social media. Facebook, it's the FREE4ALL pod, or just add that whole URL if you'd like, facebook.com/the FREE4ALL pod. On YouTube, we'd really like to get our subscriber count up. I think we're at like 7 right now. That doesn't mean we have 7 viewers. That just means we have 7 subscribers. If you could subscribe, that'd be
great. Because we switched.
We did. We switched Facebook pages. That's
Yes.
why. So youtube.com/@freeforall_pod. And then if you're on the other socials like Twitter or Instagram or TikTok @freeforall_pod, you can find all our stuff there. Links back to our YouTube page where you can ultimately watch these shows. Subscribe, like the video, give us the thumbs up, rate 1 to 5 stars, all that good stuff. The subscriptions is huge because the more we can have subscribers, the more people will know every time an episode drops. And like I've mentioned before, I want to get us to the point where we could potentially try dipping our toe in going live, but it's not worth going live if only 7 people are going to know about it. So if we can get that number up, that'd be
What's
great.
what's the radio station update down there?
Oh yeah. So I text and nobody texted me back.
Correct.
To my partners here, and so whenever I was meeting with the owner, nobody would answer any of my responses. So I told him that I'd have to meet with him later.
Okay. Well, here, share with him this social media graphic, and then you can.
1047 in the Hill Country. That's what we're looking at. 1047 in the Burnett, Marble Falls, and Llano area.
All right, very good. Well, we'll get working on that. And I guess outside of that, I want to say thanks everybody for listening. This was season 3, episode 4, overall episode 69 of the Free for All. We will see you next week back here from the KFDX Plus studios. See you later.